Welcome to the Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Today, we're talking about the most destructive wildfire in California history and the history that brought together dozens of world leaders. Plus, a record-breaking Singles Day, another scooter recall, and the popular TV couple getting their own network. Those stories and more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Monday, November 12th. You ready? Let's do this. It's considered the most destructive wildfire in California's history and one of the deadliest. And it was one of 3 large wildfires burning in the state over the weekend. CBS News reports the so-called Camp Fire destroyed most of the city of Paradise, California, which is north of Sacramento. Thousands of homes and buildings burned, and the death toll is now up to at least 29, and still people are missing. And in Southern California, there are 2 more fires, and at least 2 more people died. One was in the area of the LA suburb Thousand Oaks, which, yes, is the same area where Wednesday night's mass shooting happened. Another tore through Malibu, where the AP reports people evacuating included celebrities like Lady Gaga and Martin Sheen. Some even lost their homes, like Gerard Butler and Robin Thicke, who posted about it on social media. Variety reports at least one of the sets from the HBO series Westworld burned down, along with many other buildings. Hundreds of thousands of people in the state have been forced to evacuate their homes. President Trump blamed what he called poor forest management for the fires and threatened to withhold federal payments if things don't change. But the president of the firefighters union hit back, saying Trump's message is, quote, ill-informed, ill-timed, and demeaning. And the California governor weighed in. He said no amount of managing forests will stop climate change, and he said those denying it are contributing to the tragedy. Either way, this is not over yet. These fires are not out, and gusty winds and dry conditions that can make them worse are expected again today. The election isn't over yet. Recounts are now officially underway in the races for the U.S. Senate and governor in Florida. CNBC says it's unprecedented for 2 main races like this to need recounts. And it's already heated. The Hill reports the current governor, Rick Scott, who's running for Senate, has filed lawsuits against election officials and is accusing his opponent, Bill Nelson, of possible fraud. But so far, state officials say they have not had any credible allegations. In the race for governor, Ron DeSantis and Andrew Gillum are waiting for the final results. In both races, the recounts are due by Thursday afternoon. Already, election officials in one county said it may not be possible to meet that deadline. So, to be continued. Dozens of world leaders, including President Trump, gathered in Paris, France yesterday to mark the end of World War I, which was 100 years ago yesterday. It was November 11th, 1918, when the 4-year war ended, a war that claimed the lives of about 10 million soldiers. French President Emmanuel Macron hosted commemorations. The AP reports his message was never again, and he talked about the lessons from World War I. But he also seemed to call out President Trump without actually saying his name. Macron talked about the dangers of nationalism, saying it erases a country's moral values. Well, President Trump had recently called himself a proud nationalist, saying he puts U.S. interests first. President Trump also visited an American cemetery in France to pay tribute to Americans who fought in the 2 world wars. Of course, yesterday was also Veterans Day, a time to honor those who have and continue to serve in America's armed forces. It's a federal holiday, so government offices will be observing it today. You also won't be getting your mail because post offices are closed. Some banks will be closed as well, and many schools won't be having classes. There are several more stories to talk about, but let's take a quick break to thank our sponsor today, Swap.com. You've probably heard me talk about this one before. Swap.com is the world's largest online consignment and thrift store, and it has something for everyone. You can filter your search for women's, men's, athletic clothing, holiday party outfits, kids' clothing, toys, and more. There's even maternity, so you don't have to spend a fortune on clothes you won't be wearing very long. Plus, you can find what you need with convenience. No sitting in traffic or standing in lines. Expect to save up to 90% off the retail price on a bunch of brands, everything from Lululemon and Nike to J.Crew and Gap. Swap.com sells gently used, quality, hand-inspected items and adds new items to the site daily. And if something doesn't fit, there are hassle-free returns within 30 days. So you can get 35% off select items for your first order by going to swap.com and using the promo code Newsworthy. Again, that's SWAP, swap.com. Use the promo code Newsworthy. And you'll also find new deals every day listed on swap.com's homepage. Now, back to the news. Singles Day was a hit once again. Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba broke its own sales record with $31 billion in sales on its annual Singles Day. Yes, Singles Day. It actually started as a celebration of singles, like the opposite of Valentine's Day, but it's grown into a huge shopping event with discounts and sales. It's now the world's largest shopping holiday and is also called Double 11 because of the date, 11/11. NBC News reports in that one day yesterday, Chinese shoppers spent more money than Americans spent on Black Friday and Cyber Monday combined. E-scooter company Lime has pulled more of its scooters off the streets in cities around the world. Why? The Washington Post reports Lime issued a recall of one of its scooter models because it might break in half during use. Lime said it has replaced those with newer scooters and that most of their scooters available are actually from a different manufacturer. But yes, this is the same company that already had problems. It had to pull a small number of scooters over the summer for concerns about batteries catching fire. They are one of the most popular TV couples in America, Chip and Joanna Gaines, and now they're planning to come back to television. They got their fame on the series Fixer Upper on HGTV, but they chose to leave that earlier this year. Now the couple told Jimmy Fallon on NBC's The Tonight Show that they're getting their own network in partnership with Discovery. Discovery says talks are still in the works to finalize the details, but the LA Times reports Discovery will likely rebrand one of its smaller channels, like DIY, to the Chip and Joanna Gaines channel, or whatever they decide to name it. It might work sort of like when Oprah teamed up with Discovery to create her network, OWN. The People's Choice Awards were on last night, and it's apparently the only major award show where the winners are voted on completely by the public for movies, music, TV, and digital. Nicki Minaj opened the show and won for Best Album of the Year. Avengers: Infinity War won Movie of the Year. Shadowhunters won TV Show of 2018. Lawyer and activist Brian Stevenson got People's Champion Award. Some of the winners, including the Kardashian family, took time to thank firefighters and dedicate their awards to those dealing with the tragedy in California. Kim Kardashian West is one of those who had to evacuate because her home was close to the fires. Well, it's definitely the holiday season at the movie theaters. The Grinch won the box office over the weekend. The Hollywood Reporter says the movie brought in $66 million in North America for its debut. The Grinch is the second big screen adaptation of the Dr. Seuss story. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, if you want to read more about any of the stories mentioned, I list all the sources and story links for you in today's show notes. Just head on over to thenewsworthy.com, click episodes, and find today's date. The Newsworthy is ready for you every weekday by 4 in the morning Eastern Time. So I'll be back with more news tomorrow. Have a great day.